I'm Dr. Carrie Horn, and you are listening to an excerpt from my book, A Soul Aligned: How God Heals His Creations. In this video, we are continuing with in a series of videos entitled that began with the title of The Spiritual Needs of a Child. And so we've talked about how children need shepherding. And now we're going to talk about that children need to be able to rest and rely. I have a picture in my home of a young child who has fallen asleep on Jesus' shoulder. The war we fight here is exhausting, and the Lord has compassion for us. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Matthew 11:28-30. I have worked with many people whose parents were not reliable, consistent, or mature enough to care for them as a child. Their repertoire for reliance on anyone, let alone God, was simply non-existent when they began their healing work. This did not mean that God was not reliable. It meant that they had to learn through experience what it felt like to be able to rely on God. Instability as a child makes it difficult to find rest within. It causes us to be constantly vigilant to what needs to be done, and it allows Satan to induce fear and lie to us that we cannot rest until everything is under control. Children are taught by example to rest in the sovereignty of God rather than depending on idols of the world. Many parents have their own unresolved suffering that causes them to live in a constant state of panicked compulsion and idolatry. They may have never learned to rest, and therefore their example of fear caused the child to feel fearful because they needed to feel and trust in the security of their parents, which comes from the Lord. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Psalm 23, 1-6. Paul says, "And my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus." Philippians 4:19. Security in Christ means that God will build every single repertoire that parents and shepherds failed to provide because of their own imperfections. God does not forsake his precious children on behalf of man's mistakes. If you are struggling to find rest in God because that repertoire was not established, ask him to minister to you exactly how to rest in him. Forgive your parents for their limitations, just as you are now limited, and rejoice in the gift of healing that God is providing for you right now. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29:11. Write about your own experience as a child, what you needed, what you now need to grieve as an inner child, and how you will commit to parent your inner child now as a loving parent and in personal accountability. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon for more videos like this. The next video in this series is entitled Children Need Order, Structure, and Justice. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you.